Hey, I just want to take a couple of seconds this afternoon to go over the TPACK reading. It may take me 2 videos to do this. And so kind of at the heart of TPACK that we want to think about is why should we use technology in our classroom? And then how should we use our technology in the classroom? And the purpose of TPACK is to, again, kind of help us understand or answer both of these questions, right? So we learn about a new technology to think about how we might use that in our classroom or why we might use that in our classroom. The article starts off with authors Mishra and Kohler talking about why technology is different, and that the fact that historically technologies like a pencil or in my classroom when I first started teaching an overhead projector, they were very specific and a specific task. They were transparent. For example, if something went wrong with the overhead projector in my classroom, it was probably a bulb that was burnt out. And these analog technologies were stable, right? They didn't change a lot. A pencil hasn't changed a lot over the last 150 years, nor had an overhead projector. Whereas these digital technologies, for example, a cell phone, they're protean in the sense that we can use them in many different ways, right? A cell phone can be a calculator, it can be an audio recorder, it can be used to call someone, it can be used to access the internet. They're unstable, right? This smartphone on the screen looks a lot different than the Nokia cell phone that was given to me in 2004 when I first signed up for a cell phone contract, right? Or first signed a cell phone contract. So they're rapidly changing and they're opaque, right? In the sense that, as I said earlier, I knew how an overhead projector worked. I know how a pencil works, but I don't know a whole lot of what's going on in that phone, right? And all of these characteristics increase the degree of difficulty, the challenges that we have as teachers in integrating them in our classroom, right? As far as just take one, for example, the rapidly changing, think about apps. I've been teaching apps for probably 7 years, if not more, and hundreds of new apps are coming out each year that you have to keep up with and learn and determine which ones you're going to use and not. Okay, as previously stated, the TPACK, or as you read, the TPACK framework is built on the work by Shulman in 1987, where he was focused on how pedagogy, how we as teachers should align our pedagogical strategies to the content that we're teaching, right? So we know that an effective way to teach certain math skills to young learners is through the use of manipulatives. So what did Kohler and Mishra did? Well, they just added the T, right, to the to the pedagogical content knowledge work that Shulman had done to create these 7 components of TPACK. And the part that I generally tend to focus on is the center part, right? Not to minimize the other relationships between the different components, but looking at how does technology support pedagogy, support content knowledge. And we'll talk a little bit about that, a little bit more about that in a second. So as it relates to content knowledge, no real need to go over what that means. We all know what our content knowledge is. Our technology knowledge becomes a little bit more complicated with in-service teachers. Our content knowledge, our pedagogical knowledge is fairly sound, but as we said, with the rapidly changing nature of technologies, our technology knowledge may not be as strong, especially if we're older teachers like myself, as our content or pedagogical knowledge may be. And with that said, I'm going to stop right here and then I'll come back and